Hello audience. As you've seen in a few past videos, we've done quite a bit of work to the truck, and now it's back together and we're ready to use it again. So this nearby church, they just got done remodeling the place and have quite a bit of construction materials left over, including a few big crates full of tile. Now just for fun I asked what they were going to do with it, and didn't really get a consistent answer. Some said they want to save it or they want to try and sell it, so didn't really care, but just recently, an official there, they told me, if you want any of it, just haul away as much of it as you want. I don't really have a use for all that tile, although I'm sure I can invent a use for it, but mostly, this is an excuse to use the truck, so I'm going to go over there and pick some up anyway. But first, here's an update on a few things that have been going on with this. Now, like I said, when the firewall was in the wrong location, it was affecting the angle of the steering column. Well, I've since fixed that. The column is now lower than it was. It's not touching the dash anymore, it's now back where it should be, but now there's less space between that and my legs, which is normally not a problem on a Model T because I can just put my legs around the wheel. The planetary drive transmission doesn't have a shifter, so there's no shift lever getting in the way of my legs, which is not a problem, unless it has some kind of aftermarket transmission added to it, like this one does, in which case all that goes out the window. This has a Ward's transmission, which was in it when I got it, and direct drive is right there, which is where I drive normally, and it really limits where my legs go, so I can't move it out because of the shifter and I can't move it up because of the wheel. So one remedy I did was I took the steering wheel off and put the wheel on it off the touring car. This is the earlier design. It's a 15-inch diameter, the other one was 16-inch, and it gives me just a little bit more clearance, which is just good enough to drive it. In fact, funny thing, if this actually was built in 1918, this is the correct steering wheel for it. I don't know if I'm going to leave it this way or not, but for now it works. Now some of you are probably wondering, why didn't I just leave the old wheel on and put it on backwards? Because that is an old trick to gain leg room. Because yeah, there's a lot more leg room this way. The problem is, you got to reach a lot further to get to the throttle lever, and I've driven cars like that, and that's just too inconvenient for me, so I decided not to. The starting motor finally quit. I said it was in bad shape way back when I put the engine back together, and it's gotten worse, and now it won't even turn the engine over. So I'm either going to rebuild it, get it rebuilt, or exchange it for a rebuilt one. I haven't decided yet, but there it is. The exhaust system has been falling apart. Yeah, I think the baffles are starting to come loose. So it's been steadily getting louder. And another interesting thing is the muffler, if it doesn't provide enough back pressure, you can actually start to lose low-end torque. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand how that works, but it does work, because I've noticed it's been a little bit down on power, and that's usually what happens when the muffler starts falling apart. So I made a new exhaust system for it. And by new, I mean I took some rusty trash out from the backyard and welded it all together. So it currently has a Model A muffler on it, just because it's what I had laying around. It's one of the older reproduction ones, a really cheap one that's got kind of a tinny sound to it. So it doesn't quite sound like a Model T anymore. I haven't decided if that bothers me or not, but it works, so I'm going to leave it. But first I'm going to go on a test drive, probably just up and down the coast, and make sure everything's still working on this. Yeah, look at that. I don't know why I don't come here more often. Actually, I do know. It's because the other drivers around here are really rude. And it still runs and drives, which I pretty much expected. I didn't really do anything to alter that. You're probably wondering how it runs with the water pump on it. Well, as I expected, it takes a lot longer to warm up now. Once I get going, it runs at about a steady 160 degrees, somewhere in there. A little warmer climbing hills, but pretty stable, so that's not bad. The radiator is still holding together, which, like I said, I've road tested it before, but I still didn't entirely trust it. But after going around those bumpy roads, it hasn't even started to crack open or anything, so I'm pretty sure it's going to last now. Yep, the JB Weld is still holding. We're cruising at a steady 35-ish miles an hour. When the speedometer reads 30, that's about 35. The speed limit along here is between 35 and 40. And surprisingly, with all the construction going on, I actually had to slow down quite a bit, so it wasn't really in anyone's way today, which is good. So, nothing else really to report. I think I'll just sit here for a while and enjoy the day. Okay, people are starting to show up. I should probably go before a big crowd starts and I spend the rest of the day answering questions. And we made it back home and everything is still working. Now, we did have one slight problem. The exhaust packing nut loosened up while I was driving, probably because I disturbed it. But that was easy to fix. I just tightened it up and put a hose clamp around it. Now tomorrow is July 4th, and what do I plan to do? Not really anything. In a crowded city with a holiday that's typically celebrated with explosives, I try to stay off the road, but we're still going to get into the spirit of things. Although I think I'm going to have to take these off while I'm driving. I think they're going to create a blind spot. Anyway, today we're going to go pick up some tile. And here's the stuff. several bags of mortar back here, which unfortunately the water's soaked into them, so they're useless. Which is sad, that's some pretty expensive stuff. I'm gonna stop at about here for now. This is already pretty heavy. And yeah, if this thing still had the original 7 1/4 worm drive, I'd be able to carry a whole lot more, but yeah, this is enough for me. Though I'm probably gonna have to use underdrive to get it moving. Softer with all that weight. Actually, it's not quite as heavy as I thought it was. Thought it'd be struggling a lot more. The brakes are not very happy, but it's pulling it. Now we're going on the real road. Using the auxiliary transmission now. But yeah, it's just hauling it with no problem. Well, that was a lot of fun. Now loading it up, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be way too heavy. I'm going to overload it. And then driving it home, I'm like, oh, this is nothing. I could have carried so much more than that. Now that it's here and I gotta find a place for all this stuff, now I'm thinking, why did I take this much? And that's about it for now. I don't have any immediate plans for this thing other than just drive it as is and enjoy it. And I love these occasions where I get to go to a construction site or something with this, use it as an actual truck, watch everyone's reaction and be like, yeah, what? So what did you think of this? Do you enjoy videos like this where we go somewhere and do something? Did you find it boring? Did the driving scenes make you seasick? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.